you had dreams that show you the future? Have you had dreams that scare the heck out of you? And do you know how to discern the difference between seeing the future and feeling your fears and sorting out your um, unconscious mind? Hello, this is Angelscapes, and I am your host, Nancy Smith. And welcome to this episode where we will be discussing how your unconscious and your subconscious, your higher mind, are talking to you. Um, through your dreams and your daydreams, and if you have spontaneous visions, through your visions, they all have messages for you on some level. And we're going to talk about those different levels in this episode. We're going to explore who the messages are coming from, and we're going to discern if it's from your highest guidance or your deepest fears, or if you're just letting steam off in your unconscious mind to sort through some things in your life.
Welcome to the Angelscapes podcast, where you're encouraged to uncover and develop a direct connection with your soul's power, wisdom, and spiritual intuition that is ready to blossom. We'll explore new ideas, compelling tips, and real steps to help you learn simple spiritual practices. We're a safe place to learn more about accessing your soul's power with education and spiritual wholeness that could bring more clarity to your life. Now here's your host, a practicing medium, Akashic Records practitioner, spirit artist, coach, and mentor, Dr. Reverend Nancy Smith.
This is the information age. We receive information from all sources and don't always know what to do with it. Is this true? Is it this false? Do I trust this? Can I not trust this? And we also have so much information going through our minds and through our hearts and through our awarenesses that we need a place to put it all. And oftentimes when we're learning to trust our intuition or get that gut feeling of what's coming up next, we're wading through so much information that we can't quite come to the bottom of it or really realize who's talking to me. Is it the radio? Is it the podcast I listened to last night? Was it the show I saw on TV? Was it the conversation I had with so-and-so? Is it the work worries that I have? Or is this intuition that's telling me, heads up, there's something going on? The first step for discerning super cognitive messages is to know your own inner voice or voices. What do you sound like when it's just you thinking through things or processing stuff? We all have lots of inner voices. I'm sure I've talked to you about this before. We have an inner protector that could be a little bit controlling in the way it protects you. We have our inner belief systems that can guide us. And those belief systems may be founded in something unreal or something that we discovered when we were 3 years old. We're still moving on like a 3-year-old. We have our inner worriers, or we have tremendous anxiety that comes from within. We have our inner children, and we have our inner cynics. We have our inner cheerleaders, and we have problem solvers within us, and we have idea voices within us. And we have our worst critics ever. We have saboteurs. All these voices come from our unconscious self that has lived with us for our entire life, our ego self, I guess you could call it. And those voices come in all kinds of shapes and sizes, and they try to guide us. But when they guide us, it's a limited level of guidance. It comes from sometimes stuck energy. It comes from trauma sometimes. And it's not your intuition. It's not coming from a place of, I want to learn, I want to grow, I want to move to my soul, and I want to have a wider, more fulfilling life. Our unconscious voices do not have visions of the future. They only have visions of the past and the fears from the past. It's really important to know when you're trying to discern, are these thoughts, are these hits, these intuitive hits, are these dreams, futurist dreams or not? The reason why I chose to talk about this in this episode is that I had a number of clients coming to me to help them sort out their dreams. And they were really believing their dreams were prophetic dreams. And they were terrifying dreams. And, I mean, sleeping dreams, they woke up and they said, "I believe in my dreams. I believe that dreams tell us something." And what their dreams had told them, a couple of different, ways. One was more personal and the other one was more global, but they were all personal, um, that were limiting their lives, that were scaring their life. So we're gonna talk about how to sort that through, how to get through some of that noise so that you can actually get to your intuition. You can get to that inner prophet that we all have. Your inner body. Your body has an inner language, has an inner voice of its own self, and sometimes the body's language isn't necessarily words or thought forms. They're usually feelings, or their memory will appear if you're doing something that your body recognizes from the past. It will give you information, or your body will say, "I don't like that so much, so my shoulder's going to hurt," or "I have a pain in my eye," or something in the body is speaking to you through its senses to say, "I don't like what's happening," or "I love what's happening." Our intuition arises from a small, gentle voice within us. It connects us to our soul. It gives us great ideas. It encourages us. It always speaks to us in a positive frame of mind, even if something going on is negative or heavy or deep, and we have to deal with it. Our intuition will always come out with a sense of inspiration, or a sense of, we've got an idea about this, or a place of wisdom that takes you out of stuck energy and brings you into a more alpha thinking state. Getting to your intuition is about calming yourself down. The meditation, the breathing practices that I talk about so much will take you to that alpha state. It may even take you down to a theta state, but it will enrich your intuition. It will also enrich your relationship to your intuition, so that you can recognize when it's speaking up. And when you recognize when your intuition is speaking up, you'll be able to begin to recognize when your spirit guides are talking to you through your intuition, when your soul is talking to you through your intuition. The angels, once you've invited them in, will begin to talk through your intuition, different signs, symbols, or clairaudient or clairsentient, but you must develop this quiet place within yourself where you can reach to your intuition. Um, so the next step in learning how to sort out dreams or daydreams or visions is to recognize the outer influences that are coming towards you, the outer influences of your guides, um, and then and your angels, loved ones, medium loved ones can talk to you all the time. Gosh, it's 80%. There's a statistic out I heard the other day. 80% of or 82% of people who have lost loved ones, especially spouses, will hear from their spouses from the other side, either through dreams or premonitions, or see them from the corner of their eye, or they just feel their presence. And this study was done over in Europe, and it was discovered that when people, through their grief process, had these connections, they did much better in their grief process. And when they were told that they were a little bit off the beam, or that they were crazy, by listening to these voices or these senses, they became more depressed and they struggled more. So this another outer influence can be society, can be those that come forward, say, "I'm the wisdom keeper, I know what's going on," and they don't know what's going on. So that's another outer influence that can stop you in your tracks from listening to your intuition, to your guides. And another outer influence we don't talk about much is demons, negative entities, negative energies that have a thought form of their own. They're disincarnate, they're not carnate, and they live in a dimension very close to us, and oftentimes they like to feed off of chaos. They like to feed off of our sadnesses. They like to feed off of us being confused, because we exude a certain vibration that fuels them, that nurtures them. And we're going to talk about not to talk about cursing, or not to talk about something that you can't override or have any influence over. We're going to talk about how you remain healthy and whole in your vibration, in your spiritual essence, in your energy. Um, so what is a demon? Let's talk really quickly about this. I'm not talking about the scary Hollywood things. I'm talking about that thought form that builds on inner negativity and fear and addictions and um oh gosh, anything that is just bringing you down. Sometimes you can have some trouble with grief that you haven't worked through. And once we go down a rabbit hole or we have a weak spot, we're in denial, we're in escapism, we open up a void within ourselves, and the universe abhors a vacuum or a void, and it wants to fill it. So we are responsible to make sure that if we do open up a void, that we're filling it with the good stuff. If we leave a void open and don't do our inner work, our work on emotional or psychological struggles, we leave ourselves wide open to be influenced by a negative entity or by a negative energy that can exacerbate the thought forms that you're doing and make them even bigger. The best way to keep an eye on this kind of thing is to pay attention to where your thoughts are taking you and sort out, is this thought really helping me? Or am I getting more despair? Am I getting more cranky? Am I feeling more foggy headed? Am I feeling very distracted and I can't ground myself? You could be being influenced by um, a negative entity, could be somebody else's thought form that's surrounding you. But we want to take a tiny look at, not a scary look, but a tiny look at demons that can take us to a deeper dive of a more pessimistic thought or a more um, antisocial um, thoughts. So inner demons are probably our own bad habits of negative thinking or a denial or not wanting to deal with something, and outer demons recognize that vibration within you and they want to feed off of it. So we want to pay attention to that when we're trying to do future casting for ourselves, or if we're trying to solve what do I need to do to go forward? Who's talking to me? Is my higher guidance talking to me? Is my fear talking to me? Or is a demon talking to me, coming through my fears? So voices of our intuition are very important for us to recognize and learn to listen to. And it does take time and it does take practice to recognize your intuitive voice, because our unconscious voices, the pessimism or the protector or whoever is going on in our ego or our unconscious self, is way louder than our intuitive voice. Our intuitive voice, if we could learn to turn the volume up to your internal voice and then turn the volume down of your pessimism or your fear, you'll have a lot better source of information coming towards you. So a voice of intuition could be telepathic. Telepathic, is it mine or is it yours? And when we're especially empathic, we intuitively read what is happening with others. Thinking of a close friend, for instance, and then they call you or they reach out to you or they text you and it's like, oh, I was just thinking of you. How is it that you were thinking about me? There's some telepathy going on there. Or you have waves of feelings that you don't quite know where they're connected to. And those waves of healing sometimes can be before something happens. We have an intuition that, oh my gosh, I can get angry or I can get overwhelmed or sad. And I don't know why. And then something will happen and go, I was reacting to something a little bit ahead of myself, a little bit ahead of time. We can telepathy can also overwhelm us because there's too much input coming in. Remember, I said this is the information age, and there's a lot of information coming constantly through, now that we all pretty much have smartphones and computers, through there. Then there was the television, then there was the phone, and then there was the radio. And we have built it up to such a huge volume of information coming at us that when we're empathic or telepathic, and we're getting information from the people around us, their vibes, their thoughts, and their well-being or their not well-being, it can be exhausted from it. You just need to poof out and not be part of the world for a little bit until you get yourself quiet and calm down. You're really working with telepathic intuition and need to manage it, need to figure out how to manage it, what is mine and what is not mine. You can go into a room and have lots of different reactions and go, hold on a minute. I'm coming into a room of people. When I come into a room of strange people, I get a little nervous, but what I'm feeling is not what I usually feel. So it's not mine. I'm going to give it to the corner over there. I'm going to put up a screen. Um, I'm not going to necessarily hang on every reaction that I have within myself, because some of it is reacting to something outside of me that I have nothing to do with. And it has nothing to do with me. I'm just picking up a telepathic radio station. And another kind of intuition is precognitive, when we're having premonitions about the future. And you can have these premonitions through dreams. You can have these premonitions in an awake state, daydreaming. We can watch movies play out in our head. So you'll maybe start with a daydream, and all of a sudden this movie takes over. That was nothing. You weren't even thinking about that, but how did I get here? And it's telling me a lot of information. And what do I want to do with this information? You're in a precognitive state. We can receive spontaneous information triggered by something. Pay attention to your triggers, could be just about anything. When you tune in, or you can get precogs when you tune in through meditation, through quieting yourself and listening, getting to that point where you're listening to that alpha wave, you're feeling that alpha wave, and that alpha wave can deliver precog information at times, not all the times. If you intend that that happens, then chances are you're going to get some precog information. It may be a little bit skewed depending on how practiced you are, but I want you to understand something about tuning in through meditative practices. There are many stations, vibrational stations out in the universe, some very happy and wonderful, and some like, oh my God, Armageddon stations. So what station do you want to tune into when you're working your precog self, your precog stuff? You want to be I'm be the psychic that's going to come in. I'm going to tell you all the things that are happening. You could be right on, spot on, or dead on, as they would say, but it's all negative information. It's information that scares you, scares the people around you, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there are other stations that you can tune into. So if you're really scaring yourself or draining yourself with all the negative possibilities that could happen, let's shift over to some of the positive stuff, some of the amazing things that are going on in the world, in heaven, in the thought forms, in the angelic realms, in the higher level spiritual realms. Tremendous amount of information that's valuable that you can share with others. And if you want to present psychic information, let's mix it up with the sad, bad, scary stations with the positive, loving stations. Let's balance it out. And sometimes when you do precog work, you can be wrong because things change. We are in a flux, constantly changing. Nothing is fixed. And so you could be discouraged if you're working on precog work and you're trying to get the right information, but it's just a little bit off. Well, when something is observed, it changes. So maybe you have observed a possible outcome, and because you have observed it and you maybe shared it with a few people and they're observing it, they're impacting what is happening. They're impacting what's going to unfold for in the future. And what's even more confusing is there are many planes of existence. So you could be tuning into a plane of existence that what you're seeing could possibly be happening in time and space, but it's in another plane. So it's not going to unfold in the time space where you're living, continuum that you're living in. I tell you some stories about a precog dream that I have experienced. I have, of course, lots of dreams, and I also have a gift of visions, where visions, I have had the experiences of visions just showing up. If you ever see me staring off into space, I might be seeing something that or I just might be need to have a candy bar. But I have visions that just come over me, and it's like watching a movie. But this particular story I wanted to tell you is about a premonition dream that I had. I woke up very upset from this dream, and I didn't like this dream at all. And it took me a while to sort out what it actually was. But I dreamt that I was holding a newborn infant, and this newborn infant was dead, was very ill, and did not make it. And I was very, very upset. And uh, in the dream, as I was so upset, I locked myself into a closet and just laid on the floor and held the baby and cried. And people were knocking, banging on the door. Nancy, you have to come out of the closet. You have to come out of the closet. And eventually in the dream, I did come out of the closet, and I woke up and I said, what was this all about? It was fast dream. It was colorful. It touched me. I could not get out of the feelings of it. And I didn't know what it meant. So I sat with it. And we'll talk a little bit about dream work and how I do dream work. But episode isn't necessarily about dream work. It's about really understanding the voices within. So I sat with it and did some dream work. And two important things is that the grief over this newborn baby that didn't make it, and I had to come out of the closet. And so those two things, what did they mean? Where was I going to go with it? And then I got a call from a young friend of mine that says, I think I'm pregnant, but I'm supposed to be traveling to Mexico where they had the Zika virus, but I'm not sure if I'm pregnant, so I don't know if I should go or not. And I'm like, well, then I heard come out of the closet. I said, well, you are pregnant. And you will be getting the Zika virus if you go. And that will, if you carry the baby to term, the baby won't make it. And didn't win a lot of prizes for that information, but I came out of the closet and I said my piece and convinced this young woman to go to the doctor to check for her pregnancy. And the doctor laid her out on a very clear program of what she needed to do. And she was adamant, no, you can't go to Mexico if you think you at all are pregnant. And they did a whole planning thing. And unfortunately, what I dreamed was correct. She did not go. She was very safe. Another friend of hers did go. And that was really sad because she was pregnant as well and did not make it. The baby did not make it. So I had to trust, even though I had mixed emotions, I was told to trust what I was getting. So I was very grateful that the universe, my spirit guides, whoever was talking to me, was clear enough to say, you need to speak it. You need to come out of the closet. And these kinds of things have hallmarks for themselves. They're very clear. They're very precise. They're very direct, and you can't ignore them. It sounded like a fearful dream. When you have a dream that's fearful, now we can talk a little bit about understanding your fears and working with your fears and what your fears could be telling you. Dreams, I love this quote from Judith Orloff. And if ever you want to know about empathic, what to do with your empathy, your empathic abilities, and what our dreams, read two books by Judith Orloff, The Empath Survival Guide and The Emotional Freedom. Beautiful, wonderful information. And she says dreams are revolutionary states of consciousness that impart intuitive wisdom about how to be free. They will save you eternities of time trying to figure out the meaning of your emotions by highlighting which ones are going to liberate you or not. And this information comes through your dreams. So your dreams are really about you and about where you're traveling through. That's most of the dreams. We have 5 stages of dreams. We drift off to sleep, and then we have light sleep for about half the night. And then we have the delta wave sleep. It's the third level, which goes into like this fourth level of eyes and muscles don't move and it's hard to rouse you. And sometimes people can get in that state and talk in their sleep or walk in their sleep. And then we have the REM, the REM dreams state. That's about 15-minute increments, and that the body needs it. The body needs to be in this dream state, and in this REM eye rapid eye movement state, the mind works through leftover thoughts or tries to remember what it's supposed to be learning, or and sometimes the precog dreams can come in, or sometimes psychological um dreams that come in and say, you know, this is bugging you, this is bugging you, and you can see things symbolically. So things that you can do while you're sleeping in dream intuition, you can travel to other realms. um, and that those are fun. You wake up tired because you've been traveling all night, and you can see the future sometimes in your dreams. You can figure out what's bothering you, and your unconscious is working through stuff, working through issues, or maybe you just spent a lot of time in school trying to learn something. You will dream about it um, in this REM state. So this is important. Sleep is important. You need your beauty rest. You need your beauty sleep. And and I really recommend that you start a dream journal. And when you start a dream journal, you'll start to recognize who's speaking, who's talking, and you need to write down your dreams over a period of time. You start by going to sleep, have a notepad and a pen next to you, and promise yourself that if you wake up in the middle of the night, you're going to write your dream down, no matter how goofy you think it is, and then go back to sleep, and do that over periods of time. So as you look at the dreams over a period of like a few weeks, you'll see the symbols, you'll see a pattern, and you'll start to go, oh, is that what I'm trying to tell myself? Oh, is that what's going on? And I really recommend it, especially if you have a lot of unrest in your sleep, or you feel like there's something I need to know, but I can't quite get to it. Work with your dreams. Dreams can be like memory consolidation. They can help your brain organize and prioritize from the day or the week, and decide which memories are going to be kept, which information is important, which information is not important at all, you can let go of. And they often include people, places, emotions, and experiences from your recent past. And this is what your mind is working through the database in your dreams, and you do emotional processing through your dreams. Dreams can help you process emotions, and so that you can better understand them. And dreams can also be like rehearsing. You're going to give a talk the next day, or you might have something that you have to face, um, or you have to talk to somebody. Your dream state can help you practice that and help you get clear in your mind. And so when you finally do say it, you're ready for it. And dreams, I find, has often helped me solve problems, and help me manage hidden desires, hidden emotions that you're not willing to admit to yourself. Your dreams will bring those right up. Hello, where did you come from? And or deduce any amount of random activity that your brain is working on. Dreams go into the psyche, they go into the psychological, the spiritual, and the physical realm. Dreams have no boundaries; they go everywhere. But dreams can work really well as your therapist if you do your own dream work, and they can also help you calm down or manage your fears, or your flight, fright, or freeze fears. And dreams can inspire you. They can be your muse. So they wear lots of hats. Our nighttime work does, and so even in nightmares have purpose, because they can really I had a doozy of the one the other night, and I woke up, I wrote it down, but I didn't go to sleep for an hour after that. But there was a ton of really good information in that nightmare. Um, so nightmares are can be welcome. They can kind of let you know that you're afraid of something, or again, something that's been hidden in your life that you haven't been willing to see. Um, So you want to take care of yourself. If you have a lot of dreams that are constantly chaotic dream states, there's something going on in your life that you do need to attend to, and your dreams are telling you that. So attend to your psychological and emotional needs while you're awake, while you're aware, will help your dream settle down. Or again, the dream practice of writing it down, and then when you're awake and aware, read the dream and say, Nancy, what, or self, what is talking? What's the message here? What do I need? When we do this work, again, it sets us up to recognize when there's a precog dream that's come in, or something about the future. And when we know the future, it's like having a cheat code, a cheat sheet. Well, oh, okay, so I'm going to, now that I know my car is going to break down, I'm going to go call the guy up before it breaks down and I'm stuck in the middle of the highway, kind of thing. But and as you recognize your style of processing information in your unconscious self, you will recognize when the angels show up, or when your guides show up and say something. You'll recognize that the texture and the sense of it is very, very different. Um, I have I had some stories I wanted to tell you. I had this dream, reoccurring dream, from years and years ago. And this dream was, I wanted to make a grilled cheese sandwich, and but there was no cheese in the refrigerator. And I had the pan, and the butter was all hot and ready to go. And I'm like, there's no cheese. So I just went through the refrigerator really deep into it, and I found shredded cheese, and had been there. I forgot about it. And I put it onto the bread. And sure enough, I got my grilled cheese sandwich. It wasn't quite what I wanted. And so, simple dream. But when I worked it out, the thing that I was upset about is no cheese. And the thing that I didn't really care about, that it was the refrigerator. Because I always assumed the refrigerator was going to be there. So I went into my intuitive self and I said, Self, what is this cheese talking to you about? No cheese. And I said, well, and I burst into tears and I said, this is about my relationship. This is about my marriage. There's no more cheese. And if you know the book, Who Moved My Cheese, there's no cheese left. The more I go into this relationship, I'm not getting anything out of it. And it made me sad. And what did the refrigerator mean to me when I asked myself, so what does this refrigerator mean? I said, geez, it's the universe. The refrigerator to me was the universe, that I always would be provided for. The universe will always be there. The refrigerator will always be there. And though that dream helped me to really become aware of how I was approaching a relationship that was no longer working for me. I had to become aware of it. I had to take care of myself through it. And that dream brought attention. It's a beautiful psychological moment that my dream brought me to, so that I could make the next step forwards. And your dreams are always giving you this information. Um, Something is scary, something is negative. It doesn't mean you have a demon hanging out on you. It just means that there's something that you need to deal with. If you choose not to deal with it, if you choose to go down the rabbit hole, stay down the rabbit hole, then you're opening up yourself for some really negative outside influences. And I would hate for you to do that. It really wouldn't. It's no good. So deal with your things. Deal with your things. So both our unconscious minds and our higher conscious mind, our soul, have messages for us, that we can learn from, grow from. We can learn to love ourselves and be patient with ourselves. And we can learn to discern what the message is for you and where it's coming from. A client once said to me, she had this dream that this angel came in and cursed her and took all of her protection away, and that she was going to have to live with this curse forever and ever. And she said, how can I fix this curse? And I worked with her a little bit on the dream. I said, angels don't usually curse us, but there's something else going on. And as we worked the dream, there was a person in her life that was an angel to her, that really helped her, that really rescued her, helped her, brought her through some really difficult times. But then that angel person who she had those wonderful moments with, things changed with this person, and over time, and they became not a nice person, not a kind person. And the angel, that's who the angel was in her dream. So this person who was not a nice person became more controlling, more judgmental, and she felt a little bit trapped in that relationship. And she had to come outside of it. She had to leave that relationship. She had to which was a very difficult relationship to do, to leave. And she did, but her angel was no longer an angel. So that's, we kind of started to realize that, um, because what was happening is, because she had that dream and she interpreted as, this is really an angel, and so I'm not protected anymore, and I'm not loved by the higher universe. And she made a lot of decisions in her life, and it was a very painful place, until we realized that, here's what this meant. This is what your mind was saying. Even though you think this person is awesome for you, it's no longer awesome for you. Um, So some thoughts on predictive dreams. They have exceptional vibratory colors. They're oddly impersonal. If you ever get a predictive dream, it's not about you. You're not upset about it. You're more like an observer. And you have a sense of knowing within yourself, in your body, and there's a and clarity to certain segments of the dream, where you see things very, very clearly. Like I said, you feel like you're witnessing it. So you don't, it's sometimes you don't really feel like you're experiencing it, or you're in the middle of it. You're actually bringing information. So when you have a dream like that, you can ask yourself, what is this dream trying to tell me? Write it down as soon as you can. Um, and then go at it with your common sense, with eyes wide open, and say, what is this dream telling me? What is it leading to me? What is the suggestions that this dream is making to me, that I can step out on and take a chance on, like had to come out of the closet, um, and be honest with this woman about this. Her pregnancy was highly at risk with some of the choices she was about to make, and save the baby's life. Um, and that wasn't 100%. I was very emotionally involved in that. That was actually one of the more predictive dreams I've had, where I was emotionally involved. I think they wanted to get my attention, but I've had visions. I haven't spoken that much to you about these visions that can happen. It's like a daydream that goes wild, that just takes off on its own. And those visions can be seeing a difficult situation that could arise. And the visions can also be, this is really good for you. There's no way that this isn't going to turn out. This is a really wonderful outcome. And these visions, it's important to pay attention to where it's coming from, to how you're feeling about it. What can you do about it? Always explore, always ask your higher self when, even whether it's a daydream, whether it's a vision, whether it's a dream, it's information that's coming to you outside from, you're not in your aware mind, you're in your receptive mind, you're in your dream state mind, and you want to use your common sense, keep your eyes wide open, and ask yourself, how does this make me feel? Or ask your angels, come and clarify this for me, and ask your guides, who sent me this? Or you ask your unconscious self, who's talking to me? Which cynic is talking to me now? And you'll get an answer. And maybe you won't get an answer that very same day, but you keep at it and you will get an answer. I've had visions, repeated visions over and over again of things that were about to happen, that things were happening. And don't get them as much now, I think, because I'm working with my psychic abilities. I'm talking to my guides a lot more often, so the information doesn't have to pound the door down in my mind. So I don't have the visions quite as much. But if you're having visions, I don't want you to let yourself get sucked into them. I want you to be aware that there's some information coming your way, and maybe you need to dialogue with it. You need to journal with it, and you need to sort it out before you decide what you think it means, because how you're connecting the dots through your mental mind may not be close at all to what your emotional or what your spiritual mind are telling you. So like the grilled cheese sandwich, I would never have guessed the refrigerator was the universe, and that would always provide for me. But I didn't believe that the universe provided for me. So they gave me a big refrigerator to say, hey, yeah, we are here. So another dream I want to go back to a little bit with you is the guidance dreams. A word or an image or a scenario just zings you in your guidance dreams. I had a dream about a giraffe once, and the giraffe was in this beautiful garden, and it's a giraffe. Somebody shot the giraffe and it just died in the garden. I was just so upset about it. And I went to a friend of mine. I said, "Can you? I have to move this giraffe to a better space. Can you help me move this giraffe?" And I was just so upset. So I wrote it down. I've been working on this giraffe dream for a while, but the giraffe dream has to do with my inner wisdom, my ancient wisdom, that along with the innocence of it and the creativity around it, I was being influenced from the outside to say that this stuff is no good, and I was letting my giraffe die, and, I've been working really hard on not letting that giraffe die anymore, but my inner wisdom, my ancient wisdom does have a lot to offer me, and I don't have to listen to the outside I do need to listen to my inner wisdom as it unfolds and nurture it and bring it along, and as I do that, I have a much better place in my life, a much I feel like, I'm in the world in a much better place. So that giraffe dream was very, very important for something personal, for me to release and live in something a gift that I have within myself. And, I would like for you to consider, what's your giraffe? What is in your life that maybe you're, letting die, or you're not, because you're not nurturing it? So guidance dreams, the word of the image can really zing you. You can get goosebumps. I know that some of us intuitives, when we're saying something that's closely to being um, intuitive or spot on, we get goosebumps, or we get hot flashes, or we get tingles, um, and we have an aha moment, like, oh, no kidding. Is that I didn't think of it. Oh my gosh, I've been thinking about this all along, and that's the answer. The advice from the guidance dreams, it could be a guidance daydream, it could be a guidance vision, where it just sits well with you. It sits well with your gut, and your energy brightens, and the tension lifts. These are these. Remember, I said we have good stations, precog stations that we can tune into, and it's the guidance that's really helpful. So your energy brightens, the tension in your body lifts, and then you choose to follow the dream's suggestions, and then watch the positive changes that happen in your life, um, as you follow them, and begin to trust them. And letting yourself trust yourself is probably the third biggest step of being able to understand what, um, these dreams, visions, and daydreams are telling you in your life. If you have to make a decision, you're not having a dream about it, but you need to make this decision. What can I do about it? You can create a dream scenario where you can imagine that you're watching a movie, and you're going to buy this car, and you have to decide if you're going to fix the car that you have, you're going to buy a new car, or maybe there's another choice, but you can't see it right now. And so you play the movie of fixing your car, for instance, and you watch that car get fixed, and then you drive that car for 3 months, you drive that car for 2 years, and you see, how do you feel in the car? How much money is going out the window? I mean, you see, just open the car window and see money's flying out of it, and see how this car works for you. And then you put that movie aside, and then you look at the movie of getting a new car. You're going to trade your car in, or whatever you're going to do. You're going to give your car to your sister and get a new car, however you want to do it. And you're going to drive that car off the lot, and you're going to look at 3 days, and weeks and months and a year, and drive that car everywhere. Where is this car going to take you? Are you going on a fun trip, or are you staying at home? If roll down the window, is there money flying out the window? Or if you roll down the window and the money's sitting on the seat and it's not flying out the window, then it was good value. Work with the symbolism, and then put that movie aside, and then play the next movie, which is, I don't know, and then watch the movie play, and you're driving in a car. You don't know what car you're driving in, and how does it feel? And if you're feeling awkward, what would you like in that car to make you feel better? And on, and then play with it, have fun with it. So then you've created some visions for yourself. You've envisioned a possibility, and which at the end of all the three movies, choose what felt the best to me, what felt like something I want to have in my life, what can I live with? and that will give you um, a, a scenario that you can choose from. Anytime we have these dreams or these visions or these daydreams, we always are at choice. We move into our aware self and we make a choice of how we think about them, what we're going to do about them, and what we're going to learn from them. So, having said all this, dreams can help you do the inner work, and it can help fill that void with the good stuff. And and knowing how you work within yourself will also sensitize you to hearing your higher power, hearing your soul, hearing your guidance, your spirit guidance, and the angels, and fill you up with the good stuff, fill you up with that place of and when the energy is light and you're feeling really, really good about stuff. I mean, there's a lot of information. There's a lot of bad information. There's a lot of bad news bears information. There's a lot of positive potentials. And what you do is be honest with yourself, see what you're working with, and then let yourself listen to these beautiful tools that you have within yourself. And that's what I have for now. If you want to work with me on your dreams, I'm at angelscapes.net. You can reach me, email me, or reach me through my website. You can make a free discovery session. It's not a reading, where we could talk about how I would work with you on some of these beautiful things that you have going on in your life. And I have mentorships where we could work over a period of time. Sometimes one session doesn't quite do it, but we could work over a period of time to really help you hear yourself and know what your dreams are telling you, know what your soul is communicating with you. So for now, sweet dreams, and have a wonderful time exploring your amazing gifts.
Thank you for joining the Angelscapes podcast. We hope you've gained new insights and inspiration for your journey to uncover and access your soul's power. For more information and a deeper dive into finding clarity in your life, go to angelscapes.com. Remember to subscribe so you can be part of the discussion. It may just change your life. See you next time.